are many trees showing the natural part of Melbourne. You could get lost staring at the water as well. A member of the public said, even with water, we can just stare at it and get lost. The busy traffic and crowds of people just add to the city vibe. If I had all the time in the world, I would stay here for hours. Now, once you are done looking, pause the podcast and continue. Moving down Swanston, which is now St Kilda Road. Staying on the left side. Stop once you reach a floral clock and a man on a horse, and press play. The clock, located in the Queen Victoria Gardens in front of the King Edward VII statue, is made of over 7,000 flowers. It was actually donated by some Swiss watchmakers. Now pause the podcast and continue down until you reach a statue of Weary Dunlop, standing by himself, usually with flowers around him. Weary Dunlop is a true Australian hero. He was a doctor in World War II who displayed courage and boosted morale in the terrible disease-ridden conditions of prison camps and hospitals in many countries. His nickname comes from his last name, Weary as in tired, like a Dunlop tire. Now pause the podcast and continue down the road until you reach a path with tall trees lining either side, and a huge shrine at the end. Once you reach the stairs of the shrine, press play. Sometimes we get so caught up looking to the future that we forget to remember the past. The past is the reason we are here today, so why not take a look at the Shrine of Remembrance? What are we remembering? Well, remembering the sacrifices that the men and women of our country have made when we were called upon by our allies. They went to a world different from home, an unforgiving world where the only real goal was survival. World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, and a number more are what the shrine remembers. But before we get into all the different parts of the shrine, and there are a lot, we should first take a look at the initial view. From the front of the shrine, look down the path leading up to it, lined with tall trees, and you can see down St Kilda Road and into the heart of the city. You can see Swanston Street, a large amount of buildings, including one that is quite interesting. Because of the arrangement of white and black lines, it looks like there's a massive face on the side of the building. Can you see it? Aside from that, another interesting thing is that each tree lining the path has a plaque next to it. These plaques have different divisions of the Australian military. A tree is planted for every division or battalion, and it is a nice way of thanking them and showing how grateful we are for all their tireless work and dedication. Now, let's look back to the shrine. It has an interesting type of architecture which is inspired by Greek architecture. You can tell by the signature Greek columns and the archway, which makes it seem sacred and holy. To the right of the shrine there are two things, a fire and a tower. The fire was lit in 1954 by Queen Elizabeth II and is called the Eternal Flame. It bears witness to all the heroism and sacrifice made by anyone in order to make better lives for others. The tower, called the Cenotaph, lists all the places Australians fought in World War II. On the top, it has 6 stone soldiers carrying their fallen comrade, with each pair of soldiers representing the Army, Navy, and Air Force. There are also flags to the left of the shrine, with the Victorian state flag and the flags of all the military services in rotation. There are many more monuments and symbols on the outside of the shrine, but there are too many to cover. There are detailed tours of the Shrine of Remembrance, and a link will be provided in the Extras section of the blog. Let's ascend the stairs to the inside of the shrine. Pause it until you are there. In the shrine, there is a room in the middle with hallways surrounding it. You may not be able to go into the middle room if there is a tour happening. The middle room holds the Stone of Remembrance, a stone with the inscription, "Greater love hath no man." On the 11th of November, a ray of sunlight passes through a hole in the ceiling and shines on this stone. In the hallways, there are books with names of all Victorian soldiers in World War One. There are also flags on the walls of nations in the Commonwealth. Going up another set of stairs next to the entrance, where it's a balcony. Pause it until you are there and you are done looking. From here is, in my opinion, the best view on this tour. You get a 360-degree view of Melbourne and beyond. You can look deep into the city, into all the different suburbs. You can see the ocean and Albert Park Lake on the right side. The horizon is lined with so many different buildings and different landscapes that it is hard to tell how far you are looking. The view is also better than a lot of views in the city because it isn't right next to all the tall buildings. It's a real hidden gem. The Shrine of Remembrance is a very interesting place to explore. There are plenty of things I haven't mentioned about it, like the War Museum underneath it, and the amount of monuments around. I interviewed one of the guards there about what his favourite part of the shrine was. He said, "I think it's just the pure significance of it. What it means, and still does mean, is amazing. It's literally dripping with symbolism. To give you an idea of the impact it had, in 1934, 300,000 people showed up to the commemorating service. You do the math. I think it would be the significance that is the best part. This shows that no matter how many years pass, we will remember them." Now pause and go to the front of the shrine. Once you are there, press play. If you are facing the shrine, go to the left side of it. Go to the road and turn right. Go down the road until you reach a gate, which is just past Dallas Brooks Drive and the herbarium. Pause it until you are there. Now go straight. At the first intersection, turn right. At the second, turn left. At the third, left. At the fourth, next to the lake, go right. And at the final one, take a left. It's pretty complicated, but you can rewind if you forget. But it is right, left, left, right, left. Right, left, left, right, left. If you get lost, refer to the maps around the gardens. The place you want to go is the Terrace Cafe next to the Ornamental Lake. There is a map right near the gate you're at. Just make sure you enjoy the scenery and take it all in. We are at our final stop, and is there a better place to end? The Royal Botanic Gardens are a lush green paradise that can calm you and soothe your mind after a long day of walking about the perpetually hectic streets. It is 38 hectares of pure flora and fauna, housing over 10,000 individual plant species. Right in the middle of Melbourne, this city is diverse in landscapes and can be a great place for anyone, which is why it is the most livable city. You might sit down and enjoy the graceful scenery. You might go for a walk, seeing the vast array of plant species. If you take a closer look, you can find many animals, including insects, birds, fish, and marsupials. The gardens were built on marshland and swamp, of which there are still traces, especially in the lake. Which brings me to the best part of the Botanic Gardens, the Ornamental Lake. It's so visually pleasing that it is like it has been painted by an artist. The lake, surrounded and inhabited by countless plants, with the buildings of the city just poking out from the top of the trees, is enough to alleviate all of my worries. It makes me want to sit there and soak it all in for a while. From time to time, people come here to paint the wonderful lake, because it is hard not to. I asked the girl at the counter of the Terrace Cafe right next to the lake what her favourite part of the gardens was. Almost without hesitation, she said, "The lake." It's pretty easy to see why. And this is where the tour ends, right here in this magnificent botanical gardens. I hope you've enjoyed, and perhaps you can come back to these places and show other people what Melbourne has to offer. If you have some time, just take a seat on the lawn right next to the lake and enjoy it. Sometimes we just need to slow it down and look at what we have in this beautiful country. Thanks for listening.